Finally this week, we've been watching Raúl Ruiz's Mysteries of Lisbon. Not the film, which was released to considerable critical acclaim in 2010, but the original television series from which it was distilled, a French-Portuguese co-production. The chance of such a thing being shown on television here, even on a cable channel, would have been slender to nil 10 years ago, but the success of The Killing and other subtitled television programmes has made television shows you have to read a bit less daunting to schedulers than they used to be. Ruiz's series is based on a 19th century Portuguese novel by Camilo Castelo Branco, and it tells the story of Pedro, a young orphan boy growing up in a Catholic seminary. In the first episode, Pedro discovers that he's the son of a countess, brutalised by her husband because the child is not his. And little by little, a kindly priest, Father Diniz, reveals the truth of his paternity. Ruiz tells this story in an elliptical fashion, intercutting scenes from a toy theatre which echo or presage what we see on screen. David, the mood here is very, very distinctive. It's not costume drama as we know it, is it?
No.
What did you think of it?
Yeah, it's very not wide shot, mid shot, close up. It's very... I thought it was both brilliant and very disappointing. Brilliant stylistically. Every shot was beautifully set up. There was lots of wonderful tracking shots, wide shots. But what they never had, or very rarely, they'd go in for a close-up. And I felt in the end, although there was great beauty, I felt that was a disadvantage because as I got into the second episode, I wanted to be more involved. And it's all very theatrical, it's all very classical, you're all very distant and admiring. And the pace of the storytelling is very polite and distant. And I wanted in by the end. I wanted dirty close-ups.
Yeah, I mean, the pace of the storytelling, certainly in the first episode, is very...
It's really slow.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually ended the first episode thinking that this is one of the dullest, stagiest, worst stage things that I'd ever watched. I reluctantly turned on episode 2 and I found it strangely compelling. And I would watch episode 3 if I had it. I thought, there's so many oddities in this, particularly in episode 2. You have women gossiping in a salon and then one of them faints and then the other one faints. And when they faint, nobody goes to pick them up. They just look at them. Nobody sort of relates to each other. I began to think I was really enjoying being in this utterly surreal and greater than Technicolor world.
I completely agree with everything you just said. Exactly the same. Exactly the same. First episode, I just wanted to shout, "Get on with it!" I was just, please, something happen. And it was just, it was so knowing and sort of visually, aesthetically knowing and so forth. And the way in which the sort of camera panned onto sort of doors as if they're going to open. I really was just getting really irritated with that. And then suddenly, in the second episode, something started to happen. And they suddenly got caught up in this. I'll watch the third one. But I wasn't...
No, I won't watch the third one. I feel the opposite way. It was fine for the first episode, and then the way he would set up these shots that really kept me going for the first episode. I just want to say, no, stop it. It's silly now. There's one shot where it's the count. This count is dying, and it's above the bed, and the camera swings to his face. It's like above the foot of the bed, so it swings to his face. It's a very bizarre angle, then swings the other way. And I just thought, nope, silly. Then there's another shot where you see a fight, but through a stagecoach window.
That's what I loved about it.
Silly.
I had to actually... I played that scene 3 times because it makes absolutely no sense. No, the stagecoach one, because you have a priest in a stagecoach. There's a fight going on outside. He steps out of the stagecoach, looks at the fight, goes back into the coach, starts to read, which appears to be an odd thing to do. The fight proceeds past his windows in the most bizarre kind of comic way. He doesn't even look up. It's over. He gets out and says, "What happened?"
But there is this...
The prize for silly has to go to the hanging scene. That has to be. Young boy walks along, sees 3 men hung on the side. One of them, another little boy, says, "Oh, that's my father." Next thing he says, "Shall we go and play?" And then they walk on again.
But that's the same surreal kind of these Goya moments that suddenly occur in something which appears to be a society drama.
Yeah, that's what convinced me that I would keep on watching, because I want to see more. I just want to see more stagecoach moments, more fainting women.
Hero priest. I like the hero priest motif.
Well, that is a rarity in itself.
I found unbelievable.
OK, The Mysteries of Lisbon begins on Tuesday, February the 12th at 9 o'clock on Sky Arts.